vagina unless you love hair. Many people do not love hair. My first and only husband hated hair. He said it was dirty and cluttered. He made me shave my vagina. It was naked and puffy like a little girl's. This excited him. When he made love to me, it felt the way a beard must feel. It felt good to rub it, and painful. It was like scratching a mosquito bite. It was screaming at red bumps. It was like it was on fire. I refused to shave it again. So, my husband had an affair. When we went to marital therapy, he said he screwed around because I wouldn't please him sexually. I wouldn't shave my vagina. The therapist had this thick German accent and used to gasp between sentences to show her empathy. She asked me why I didn't want to please my husband. I told her I thought it was weird. I felt little when there was no hair down there, and I couldn't help talking in this baby voice, and the skin got irritated. Even calamine lotion wouldn't help it. She told me, marriage is a compromise. I asked her if shaving my vagina would stop him screwing around. I asked her if she had many cases like this before. She told me questions diluted the process. I needed to jump in. She was sure it was a good beginning. This time, when we got home, he got to shave my vagina. It was like therapy bonus prize. Well, he clipped it a few times and there was blood in the tub, but he was so happy to be shaving me, he didn't even notice. Then, later, I could feel this spiky sharpness pressing into me. There was no protection, no fluff. I realized then that hair is there for a reason. It's the leaf around the flower, the lawn around the house. You have to love hair in order to love the vagina. You can't just pick the parts that you want. And besides, my husband never stopped screwing around.
All of the women were asked the following questions. If your vagina got dressed, what would it wear?
Glasses, a beret, a leather jacket, mink, silk stockings, a pink boa,
A male tuxedo, jeans, something form-fitting. Emeralds, an evening gown, sequins, Armani only. A tutu, a taffeta ball gown, see-through black underwear.
something machine washable.
A costume eye mask, purple velvet pajamas, angora, a red bow. Airmen and pearls, a leopard hat, a silk kimono, sweatpants, a tattoo.
An electrical shock device to keep unwanted strangers away.
High heels, lace and combat boots, purple feathers, twigs, shells, cotton. A pinafore,
A bikini.
a slicker.
If your vagina could talk, what would it say? 2 words.
Slow down. Is that you?
Feed me. I want yum yum. Oh yeah.
Start again. No, over there. Lick me. Stay home. Brave choice. Think again. More, please. Embrace me. Let's play.
Don't stop. More. Remember me.
Come inside. Not yet. Whoa, Mama. Yes. Yes. Rock me. Enter at your own risk. Oh, God. Thank God. I'm here. Let's go. Let's go. Find me. Thank you. Bonjour.
No, it had nothing to do with Eisenhower. No, it's a cellar down there. It's very damp and clammy. You don't want to go there, trust me. You get sick, suffocating, very nauseating. The smell of the mildew and the clamminess and everything. Ooh, the smell's unbearable. Gets in your clothes. No, there was no accident down there. Didn't blow up or catch on fire or anything. Well, no, never mind. I can't talk to you about this. What's a small girl like you going around asking old ladies about the down there's for? We didn't do this kind of thing when I was a girl. There was this boy, Andy Lefkoff. He was very cute. Well, I thought so. And tall like me, and I really liked him. He asked me out for a date in his car. No, I can't do this. I can't tell you this. Talk about down there. You just know it's there, like the cellar. There's rumbles down there sometimes. You can hear the pipes and things get caught there, little animals and things. And it gets wet, and sometimes people have to go and plug up the leaks. Otherwise, the door stays closed. You forget about it. I mean, it's part of the house, but you don't see it or think about it. It has to be there, though, because every house needs a cellar, otherwise the bedroom would be in the basement. Oh, Andy Lefkoff, right. He was very good looking. He was a catch. That's what we called it in my day. We were in his car, a new white Chevy Bel Air. I remember thinking my legs were too long for the seat. I have long legs. I was looking at my big kneecaps when he just kissed me in this surprisingly take you by control like they do in the movie sort of way. And I got excited. So excited, and well, there was a flood down there. I couldn't control it. It was like this force of passion. This river of life just flooded out of me, right through my panties, right onto the seat of his new white Chevy Bel Air. It wasn't pee and it was smelly. Well, frankly, I didn't smell anything, but Andy said that it smelled like sour milk and it was staying in his car seat. It's a weird, stinky girl, he said. I wanted to explain to him that his kiss had caught me off guard. It wasn't usually like this. I tried to clean up the flood with my dress. It was a new yellow primrose dress and it looked so ugly with the flood on it. Andy drove me home without saying another word. When I got out and closed the door, I closed up the whole store. Never opened for business again. I dated some after that, but the thought of the flood made me too nervous. I never even got close again. I used to have these dreams, though. Crazy dreams. Oh, they were dopey. Why? Burt Reynolds. I don't know why. He never did much for me in life, but in my dreams it was always Burt. Burt and I. It's always the same general dream. We'd be out, Burt and I. One of those restaurants like you see in Atlantic City, all big with the chandeliers and thousands of waiters with the vests. Burt would give me this orchid corsage. I'd pin it on the blazer and we would laugh. We were always laughing, Burt and I. We'd eat shrimp cocktail, huge shrimp, fabulous shrimp. And we would laugh more. We were very happy together. And then he'd look into my eyes and pull me close to him in the middle of the restaurant. And just as he was about to kiss me, the whole restaurant would start to shake. Pigeons would fly out from underneath the table. I don't know what those pigeons were doing there. And the flood would come straight down from there. It would pour out of me. It would pour and pour. There'd be fish inside it and little boats. And the whole restaurant would fill with my flood. And Burt would be standing waist deep in it, looking horribly disappointed in me that I'd done it again. Horrified as his friends Dean Martin were like, swim past us and then see those evening hours. I don't have those dreams anymore. Not since they took away just about everything connected with down there. Moved out the uterus, the tubes, the whole works. Doctor thought he was being funny. He said, if you don't use it, you lose it. But really, I found out it was cancer. Everything around it had to go. Who needs it I love the dog shows and they sell antiques. You asked me what it would wear? What kind of question is that? What would it wear? It'd wear a big sign, closed due to flooding. What would it say? I told you, it's not like that. It's not like a person who speaks. Stop being something that talked a long time ago. It's a place you don't go. It's closed up, it's under the house, it's down there. You happy? You got it out of me, you made me talk. You got an old lady to talk about her down there. You feel better now? You know, you're actually the first person I've ever told about this, and I feel a little bit better.
My vagina is a shell, a round, pink, tender shell, opening and closing, closing and opening. My vagina is a flower, an eccentric tulip, the center acute and deep, the scent delicate, the petals gentle but sturdy. I did not always know this. I learned this in the Vagina workshop. I learned this from the woman who runs the Vagina workshop. A woman who believes in vaginas, who really sees vaginas, who helps other women see their own vaginas by seeing other women's vaginas. In the first session, we were asked to draw a picture of our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vagina. That's what she called it. She wanted to know what our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vagina looked like to us. One woman who was pregnant drew a big red mouth screaming with points spilling out. Another very skinny woman drew a big serving plate with a kind of Devonshire pattern on it. I drew a huge black dot with squiggly lines around it. The black dot was equal to a black hole in space, and the squiggly lines were meant to be people, objects, or just your basic atoms that got lost there. I always thought of my vagina as an anatomical vacuum, randomly sucking up particles and objects from the surrounding environment. I did not think of my vagina in practical or biological terms. I did not, for example, see it as something attached to me. In the workshop, we were asked to look at our vaginas with hand mirrors. And then, after careful examination, we were to verbally report to the group what we saw. I must tell you that up until this point, everything I knew about my vagina was based on hearsay or invention. I had never really seen the thing. It had never occurred to me to look at it. My vagina existed for me on some abstract plane. It felt so reductive and awkward, looking at it like we were in the workshop on our shiny blue mats with our hand mirrors. It reminded me of how the early astronomers must have felt with their primitive telescopes. My vagina unsettled me quite a fair bit. Like the first time you see a fish cut open and you discover this other bloody complex world inside, right under the skin. Whew. It was so raw, so red, so fresh. Huh. The thing that surprised me most was all the layers. Layers, inside layers, opening into more layers. My vagina amazed me. Oh, wow. I could not speak when it came my turn in the workshop. I was speechless. I had awakened to what the woman around the workshop called vaginal wonder. I just wanted to lay there, my legs spread, examining my vagina forever. It was better than the Grand Canyon. Oh, ancient and full of grace. It had the innocence and freshness of a proper English garden. It was funny. Very funny. It made me laugh. Good hide and seek. Open and close. Then, the woman around the workshop asked, how many women in the workshop had orgasms? 2 women tentatively raised their hands. I did not raise my hand, but I had orgasms. I did not raise my hand because they were accidental orgasms. They happened to me. They happened in my dreams, and I would wake in splendor. They happened a lot in water, mostly in the bath. Once in Cape Cod. They happen on horses, on bicycles, sometimes on the treadmill at the gym. I did not raise my hand because although I had orgasms, I didn't know how to make one happen. It was a mystical, magical thing. I didn't want to interfere. It felt wrong getting involved, contrived, manipulative. It felt Hollywood. The surprise would be gone, and the mystery. The problem, of course, was that the surprise had been gone for 2 years. I haven't had a magical, accidental orgasm in a long time, and I was fucking frantic. That's why I was in the vagina workshop. Right. Then, the moment arrived that I both dreaded and longed for. The woman around the workshop asked us to take out our hand mirrors again and to see if we could locate our clitoris. We were there, the group of us women, on our backs, on our mats, our legs spread, searching for our spots, our locus, our reason, and I don't know why, but I started crying. Maybe it was sheer embarrassment. Maybe it was knowing I had to give up the fantasy. The enormous, life-consuming fantasy that someone or something was going to do this for me. The fantasy that someone was coming to lead my life, to choose direction, to give me orgasms. I could feel the panic coming. The simultaneous terror and realization that I had avoided finding my clitoris, had rationalized it as consumerist and mainstream because I was in fact terrified that I did not have a clitoris. I'm terrified that I was one of those constitutionally incapables, one of those frigid, dead, dry, shut down, apricot tasting, bitter, oh my God. I lay there with my mirror searching for my spot, my fingers reaching, and all I could think of was the time when I was 10 and I lost my gold ring with the emerald in a lake. How I kept diving over and over to the bottom, my fingers running over fish and stones and bottle caps and slimy stuff, but never my ring. Panic I felt. I knew I'd be punished. The woman who ran the workshop saw my insane scrambling, sweating, heavy breathing. She came over. I told her, "It's gone. It's gone. I've lost my clitoris. I shouldn't have worn it swimming." The woman who ran the workshop laughed. She calmly stroked my forehead. She told me my clitoris wasn't something I could lose. It was me, she said. The essence of me. It was both the doorbell to my house and the house itself. I didn't have to find it. I had to be it. Be it. Be my clitoris? What? Be my clitoris. I lay back and I put the mirror down. I watched myself as I floated above myself. I watched as I slowly began to approach myself and re-enter. I felt like an astronaut re-entering the surface of the earth. It was very quiet, this re-entry. Quiet and gentle. I bounced and landed and bounced. And then I came into my own muscles and blood and cells, and then suddenly I slid into my vagina. It was easy. And I fit. And then, without looking, with my eyes still closed, I put my finger on what had suddenly become me. There was a little quivering at first, which urged me to stay. And the quivering turned into a quake. An eruption, the layers dividing, subdividing, and the quaking broke open onto an ancient horizon of light and silence, which opened onto a plane of music and colors and innocence and loving. And I felt connection, calling connection, as I lay there, thrashing about on my little blue mat. My vagina is a shell and a tulip and a destiny. I am arriving as I am beginning to leave. My vagina. My vagina. Me.
changing my baby sister's diaper. I saw her vagina. I wanted one. I thought it would grow.
I thought it would open. I ate to belong. I ate to smell like my mother. Her sweet aroma lingered in my hair, on my hands, in my skin. I ate to be pretty. Pretty.
I wondered why I wasn't dressed like the other girls at the beach, why I was missing my bathing suit top. I ate to be completed. I ate to belong, to twirl the baton.
They assigned me a sex the day I was born. It's as random as being adopted or being assigned a hotel room on the 30th floor. It has nothing to do with who you are or your favorite heights. But in spite of the apparatus that I was forced to carry around, I always knew I was a girl.
They beat me for it. They beat me for crying. They pummeled me for wanting. To touch.
To pet.
To hug,
To help.
To hold their hands.
for trying to fly in church like Sister Betrell.
For doing cartwheels.
Crocheting socks.
For carrying purses to kindergarten.
They kicked the shit out of me every day on my way to school.
In the park, they smashed my magic marker painted nails.
They punched my lipstick mouth.
They beat the girl out of my boy. Or so they tried.
So I went underground. I stopped playing the flute.
Be a man. Stand up for yourself. Go punch him back.
I grew a full beard.
It was good. I was big.
I joined the Marines. Suck it up and drive on.
I became duller.
Jaded.
Sometimes cruel.
Butch it. Butch it. Butch it up.
Always inaccurate and clenched and incomplete.
We ran away from home. From school.
From boot camp.
Ran to Miami.
Greenwich Village.
Aleutian Islands.
New Orleans.
I found gay people.
Wilderness. Lesbians.
Got my first hormone shot. Got permission to be myself.
To transition. To travel. To immigrate. 350 hours of hot needles. I would count the male particles as they died. 16 man hairs gone.
And the feminine is in your face. I smile more and raise my eyebrows. I'm curious and I ask questions.
And my voice. Practice, practice. It's all about resonance. Sing song, men are monotone and flat. Southern accents are really excellent. Jewish accents really help. Hello, my friend.
I cherish my vagina. It brings me joy.
My orgasms come in waves now. Before they were jerky.
I'm your girl next door.
My Colonel Lieutenant brother ended up paying for it. My vagina.
My mother was worried what people would think of her, that she somehow made this happen. But then she took me to church and everyone said, "You have a beautiful daughter."
I get to be soft. I'm allowed to listen, to touch. I am able to receive.
To be in the present tense.
People are so much nicer to me now.
I can wake up in the morning and put my hair in a ponytail.
A wrong was righted.
I'm right with God.
It's like when you're trying to sleep and there's this loud car alarm going off. When I got my vagina, it was like somebody finally turned it off.
I live now in the female zone, but you know how people feel about immigrants. They don't like it when you come from someplace else, and they especially don't like it when you mix. They killed my boyfriend for it. In the night when he was sleeping with a baseball bat, they beat this girl out of his head. They didn't want him dating a foreigner. Even though she was kind and pretty and listened, they didn't want him falling in love with ambiguity. They were afraid he'd get lost. They were that terrified of love. bath with salt grains from the Dead Sea, Enya playing, me loving my woman self. I know the story. Vaginas are beautiful. Our self-hatred is only the internalized hatred and repression of the patriarchal culture. It isn't real. This is unite. I know all of it. Like, if we'd grown up in a culture where we were told fat thighs were beautiful, we'd all be pounding down milkshakes and Krispy Kremes, lying on our backs, spending our days thigh expanding. But we didn't grow up in that culture. I hated my thighs and I hated my vagina even more. I thought it was incredibly ugly. I was one of those women who had looked at it, and from that moment on, I wished I hadn't. It made me sick. I pitied anyone who had to go down there. In order to survive, I began to pretend there was something else between my legs. I imagined furniture, cozy futons with light cotton comforters, little velvet settees, leopard rugs, or pretty things. Silk handkerchiefs, quilted pot holders, or playstations. I got so accustomed to this that I lost all memory of having a vagina. Whenever a man was inside me, I pictured him inside a mink-line muffler or a Chinese bowl. Then I met Bob. Bob was the most ordinary man I ever met. He was thin, tall, nondescript, and he wore khaki tan clothes. Bob did not like spicy food or listen to Prince. He had no interest in sexy lingerie. In the summer, he spent his time in the shade. He did not share his inner feelings. He did not have any problems or issues or wasn't even an alcoholic. He wasn't very funny or articulate or mysterious. He wasn't mean or unavailable. He wasn't self-involved or charismatic. He didn't drive fast. I didn't particularly like Bob. I would have missed him altogether if he hadn't picked up my change that I dropped on the daily floor. When he handed me back my quarters and pennies and his hand accidentally touched mine, something happened. I went to bed with him. And that's when the miracle occurred. Turned out that Bob loved vaginas. He was a connoisseur. He loved the way they felt, the way they smelled, the way they tasted, but most importantly, he loved the way they looked. He had to look at them. The first time we had sex, he told me he had to see me. I'm right here. I said, no, you, he said. I have to see you. Turn on the light, I said, thinking he's a weirdo and freaking out in the dark. He turned on the light and then he said, okay, I'm ready. Ready to see. I'm right here. I said, I'm right here. Then he began to undress me. What are you doing, Bob? I need to see you, he replied. No need, I said. Just do it. But I need to see what you look like, he said. And I said, but you've seen a red leather couch before, Bob? Bob continued. He wouldn't stop. I wanted to throw up and die. This is awfully intimate, I said. Can't you just do it? No, he said. It's who you are. I need to look. I held my breath
He looked and looked and looked. He got ready and his face changed. He didn't look ordinary anymore. He looked like a hungry beast. So beautiful, he said. Elegant and deep and innocent and wild. You saw that there? It was like he read my palm. I saw that, he said, and more. Much, much more. He stayed looking for almost an hour, as if he were studying a map, or observing the moon, or staring into my eyes. But it was my vagina. In the light, I watched him looking at me, and he was so genuinely excited, so peaceful and euphoric. I began to get wet and turned on. I began to see myself the way he saw me. I began to feel beautiful and delicious, like a great painting or a waterfall. Bob wasn't afraid. He wasn't grossed out. I began to swell. I began to feel proud. I began to love my vagina. And Bob lost himself there. And I was there with him, in my vagina. And we were gone.